Hello, and in this video I want to discuss the scientific evidence of a previous life, reincarnation. Whenever you hear the term, okay, science can prove this, immediately people start to listen because science has replaced religion. So when you want to hear, let me tell you, I hope you can see me because the sun seems to have gone away. When you use the term science, empirical observation, then people immediately says, well, it must be true, because science are arguing that, or paranormal science are arguing that there is, reincarnation. There is a previous life. What I find confusing is that I cannot logically, although you use the term science, and science is supposed to be logical, but I cannot logically defend the idea that when we die, we come back in a different form, whether a reptile or a grass or a cat or a giraffe, we come back into different bodies. This is what the Hindus teach, okay? And we come back maybe as somebody else, but this idea, this concept, I cannot take seriously. I find it impossible to logically defend it, because when did this process of spiritual evolution began? When did it began? Who was the first human to evolve, from reincarnation? Or who was the first human being to, after this so-called Big Bang, came back into another life form? Who was the first human being? And you begin to realize that it's impossible, right? However, what the Bible teaches is that Christ was the only person that came in the flesh, not reincarnation, but incarnation, came in the flesh as man. That's the only time in history. Okay, you have the Greek mythology, Hindu mythologies, but that's what they are. They are mythologies. They're not based in history and historical facts. They're storytelling and mythologies. There's no prophetic development in which to support or substantiate these Greek, Hindu philosophies or mythologies or Roman mythologies. They are merely storytelling, folk-telling, and they are nothing more than mythologies without any historical validation or backup. Whereas the Bible has a long line of prophetic tradition, okay, and history to back up, that Christ would come in the flesh, etc. We have a long line of historical tradition. However, this is a biblical point of view, okay? However, if reincarnation, let's for argument's sake, say it was true, reincarnation, why punish anyone? Why bother put them in prison for crime? Why? When you can live your life as a criminal in this life and come back as a royalty, come back as a judge. There is no logical basis to, if reincarnation exists, then you don't have to watch your behavior. You can do whatever you want. You can murder, kill, rape, knowing full well the chances are when you come back, you might come back as a king, okay, a millionaire. If the dice of life is on your side, you can come back in a better form than what you're living today. It doesn't give room for, the sun's beating on me, excuse me, right? It doesn't, the sun's shining on me, right? It doesn't in any way logically it defends or logically support this idea that the afterlife. I find it hard to defend it. There are videos, there are movies out there, there are documentaries, convincing documentaries. Children who said they died, they went to heaven. They went to heaven. These children didn't even know Jesus. These children don't even believe in God. Yet they died and went straight to heaven. And you begin to realize then you don't need salvation. You begin to realize if this is true, you don't have to believe in God. If this is true, you can just evolve, live the life you want, be greedy, be selfish. Because when you die, you go into the big ball of light. And this deception is now sweeping the churches. You know, the churches are no longer preaching an apostolic tradition. That when you die, the soul sleeps and waits for the resurrection. They've moved away from that. They've compromised to such degree that this apostolic tradition has now gone, and we're moving towards a new age concept, a new age philosophy. And that is when you die, you go straight to heaven. And many people are having these experiences. You look at these documentaries, and you got children, people, you know, you name them, saying that on the operating table, when they died, they saw a big ball of light, and they saw their relatives in heaven telling them, come back, it's not your turn yet. And you have to question, if this is true, if reincarnation is true, then why do we live a good life? We might as well become criminals. If reincarnation is true, if the soul lives on, why be accountable for our actions? Why bother have responsibility? And this the church refuses to deal with. This is what the church shies away from. Real issues, real biblical theology. The church has moved away to prosperity preaching, love of money, and not dealing with real theological issues. Because the whole world now believes that when you die, you see a bright light in heaven, and you are greeted with your relatives. I cannot logically defend that, because there are far too many contradictions for it to be true. The church now teaches that when you die, you go straight to heaven to be with Jesus. Well, there are atheists who died and said they went to see Jesus. There's some serious deception going on. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I promise to make more deep, profound videos in this area. Thank you.